Hello, I am Jedi Magic and More, and it's that lovely month of May, so you know what that means. It's Star Wars month! Yes, this month we are going to be completely talking about Star Wars. I know I haven't done much of that by my title of my channel, but I plan for that to change. I plan to talk a lot more about Star Wars with a lot, and we have a plethora of new content coming out this year, so yes, I'm excited for that. Also, I wanted to first start off this video with a brief unboxing. So I got a box from Amazon. I've already opened it, but I'm just going to simulate an unboxing and show you what's inside. So I don't really know how this works, but yeah, this is the box. It's your average Amazon box. It's pretty lightweight, actually. Actually, it was kind of funny. I got it and I was like, oh man, did they just send me an empty box? Amazon doesn't do that. But it was so loud, I was like, is this like a gift certificate? So I opened it and it was what I ordered. It's just really lightweight. But what it is the retro collection version of the Mandalorian's Beskar armor. It's got the Kinner logo. It's done. The toy's done in the old Kinner style. Here, let me so you can get a closer look. It's got a little rifle. It's even got some fake aging on the box. The other thing I wanted to discuss with you, we'll put him right beside it. Actually, you know what? We'll put him. Let's see, right here. There we go, nice and safe. Happy little Mandalorian. I wanted to show you this off. This is a little robot I put together. It looks kind of like a Mars rover. If you wanted me to give it a name, give me some suggestions in the comments. I put it together completely by myself, and I'm hoping for him to become a Baby Yoda animatronic. This will hopefully hold a cradle of some sort, creating the illusion of motion. But now it's time to get to the main event, my review of the Phantom Menace. Now, I have had a complicated history with the Phantom Menace. I liked it as a kid, but as I grow older, I start to see some of the flaws, and there are a few. But first, I'd like to talk about the things that did work, have worked, and still work for me. So, the first one, um, hang on, let me notes up, is John Williams' musical score is amazing. It's almost always amazing. I will admit his music score on the sequels isn't as memorable, but we'll go into that when we get to those movies. The standouts are the St. Augie's Great Municipal Band, I believe it's called. Duel of the Fates is a recurring theme in the prequels, and it's one of John Williams' best. Anakin's theme is nice. But yeah, the Phantom Menace isn't John Williams' best work in the Star Wars movies, but there are, like I said, several standouts. It's not my favorite soundtrack, but it's not my least favorite soundtrack either. Decent creature design, like some of the creatures are really good. Even the Gungans have a good design. The the standouts for me would be the creatures in the core of Naboo. The OPC monster, the Sando Colossal Monster, and the Colo Claw creature. I think they're called. It's been a while since I read about them, but it's actually pretty intimidating. They appear only for a short time each, but they're genuinely creepy. And yeah, if you have a fear of underwater, you're afraid of the ocean. That scene would be pure nightmare fuel. And next thing that worked for me really was that epic, epic lightsaber duel at the end. This is when the previously mentioned Duels of the Fates music plays, and it makes sense. This is, as explained by, I believe, Dave Filoni, this is essentially a duel for Anakin's fate. And it's the dark side and the light side fighting for the fate of the chosen one. And as soon as Qui-Gon dies, even though Obi-Wan kills, well, I say kills, at the time he killed him, but you later find out in the Clone Wars that Maul survived. But when Maul kills Qui-Gon at that moment, Anakin's fate is sealed. He is deprived of the teacher he needs and is set on his path to becoming Darth Vader. So in a way, despite this seeming like a light side win, the dark side actually wins in this movie. Next thing is a little more divisive, but the pod racing. The pod racing is a lot of fun. I don't know why. It's just what. Maybe it's because it's one of the few action sequences in this movie that's filled to the brim with politics. But I've always had a lot of fun with the pod racing sequence. The practical effects, as few as they all look good, they use a few practical explosions. But then again, I've always preferred practical effects if possible to CGI. Just more impressive to me. And finally, final thing that worked for me is the new planets world design. Naboo's is really beautiful to look at. Coruscant is actually an intriguing city planet that gets explored further in the prequels as well as the Clone Wars. And it was nice revisiting Tatooine and seeing that Anakin and Luke came from the exact same place. But next, let's look at what doesn't work, because there are a few things. The first thing that doesn't work for me is an overuse of CGI. There's a lot of CGI in the film, and at times it can just be jarring. There's too many examples for me to give a specific one, but some of the some of the ships, I guess, I don't know. It's just to me too much. CGI isn't a bad thing at all, but when overdone, it can come out as somewhat, well, it can take you out of the story. I feel CGI can easily bring you into the story, but it can take you out. Like, look at the Jurassic Park movies. The CGI in those movies, to this day, is amazing. It makes you feel the dinosaurs are really there. But then but like I said, this film relies a lot on CGI, and I wish they had done sort of more with the miniatures. The other thing, and this is the biggest thing that doesn't work for me, is Jar Jar. Jar Jar has a purpose in the larger story that's revealed in the second movie. But here he he's just comic relief. That's basically all he is. He's comic relief. He honestly, after Utagungan, he takes him to the Gungan city, Utagungan. He could just be dropped out of the. Honestly, I feel he could probably just be. Give me 1 second. What do you need? Yes, Mom? Hi, back. Anyway, Jar what was it? Yeah, Jar Jar can just be dropped out of the movie. He's there for comic relief, and he does play a role in the final battle. But literally, any Gungan to me could have played that role. He's annoying. I liked him as a kid, but as I grow older, it's harder for me to like him. So so all that said, I feel Phantom Menace is a middle of the road Star Wars movies. there's a lot of things that work. I I can't even call it a bad movie the more I think about it. This might give me a lot of dislikes, but it's just a middle of the road movie. It's compared to there's definitely more Star Wars movies. It's a middle of the road movie. It's not as on this level of bad as the sequel trilogy is, but there's a lot better Star Wars movies and shows out there. Honestly, ultimately, I give it a 7 out of 10. I enjoy it for what it is. It's a good setup for the prequels, but there's a lot of improvements that could be made to it. Oh, and one more thing I want to discuss. It's One more thing I want to discuss: the politics. The politics aren't as big as a part of the movie as a lot of people might say. Like, and not it's the whole movie revolves around the trade tariff and the blockade of Naboo, but the actual politician discussion is a few brief scenes on Coruscant. Sorry, that's my mom. Anyway, 7 out of 10 for the Phantom Menace, and like I said, I enjoy it for what it is. There's stuff that needs to be improved, but there's a lot of stuff that does work. So next week I'll be looking at Attack of the Clones, I think, well, you'll get hopefully get my thoughts on that next week. Anyway, I'm Patrick Harrigan of Jedi Magic and More, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe if you haven't, and to leave a comment below and a like.